Live from the Blitzkrieg Studio.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Sideline Podcast, episode 16. I am your host, Adam Flores, once again joined by Christopher Marquez.
What's good? What's good? What is good, everybody?
Yo, in case you guys weren't aware, new intro. Shout out to Chris for that.
New intro?
He just put that together in the last 10 minutes.
So I was just cooking, Like, I don't know how to cook, but I can cook. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was like some Thanksgiving dinner. You
Yeah,
know?
dude. Like, one thing about me is that you underestimate me in every facet of life, and I really,
I don't underestimate you.
and I really, really don't appreciate it.
I don't underestimate you.
Well, you did. You were like, oh, I didn't know you could do this.
I just said I didn't know you could do it. It doesn't mean that I was underestimating
But
you.
I told you last episode. I said, give me the program and I'll whip it up. And you're like, no.
I didn't say that.
Just kidding. You didn't say that, but your face did.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, because you're like, no, warm water, room temp, oh, fuck.
Hey, I got my room temperature water.
Anyways, how are you doing today, dude? You know
I'm
what?
doing
I
all right.
never ask you how you're doing. You know?
You don't.
I never do.
Every time I walk in, you're so ugly, bro.
well, I mean, it's true. I mean, it's the first thing I think of when I see you. I'm like, God, he's
that's
ugly.
the first thing you say to me
Yeah,
every time
I'm
I
like,
walk
fuck,
in.
dude, how am I related to this guy?
Shut up.
God, we came from the same fucking family, the same lineage and shit.
Bro, I don't know how we did. We're like polar opposites, but not really.
What do you mean polar opposites?
I feel like we are polar opposites.
No, polar opposites would mean we would have nothing in common. Polar opposites would be like, you would just like
my own little world.
I don't know, you would not be into sports at all.
I mean, I
right?
get okay, but like,
And then you wouldn't be like into podcasting because that would be polar opposite. You know what you would be doing? You'd be like on a boat somewhere.
you get like boat vibes from me, or what?
Yeah, but like shitty boat vibes. Not like
Not
boats
like a
with,
yacht?
not with
just
a lot
like
of girls.
a
and-
raft that's like keeping you
Yeah,
afloat.
yeah,
made out
like
of sticks.
Castaway. Yeah, and then like you're just a fucking loser, and all you care about is like
Like a message in a bottle.
right, and all you
Sending
care
help.
about is like the fucking wind pressure on the ocean and shit, and like
Taking in like all my calculations and a
yeah,
little notepad.
exactly. That's all you care about,
Just
and
like
then
writing it down.
like you just wear Nautica clothing because you're nautical.
Bro, I think if I was a castaway, I wouldn't be wearing Nautica clothing.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just using wordplay,
Some
but
Callaway.
anyways,
That's golf.
Yeah, that's what the fuck. Anyways, we're not polar opposites.
Nah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I still do wonder like how the fuck we came from the same family because it's like it's baffling, you know what I mean? So anyways, guys, episode 16, the Sideline Podcast. Thank you all for subscribing, watching, commenting on the YouTube, liking the posts, and supporting the page. We really, really do appreciate that. What are we going to get into today, Adam?
So we're going to be talking NBA again today. Episode 15 was NBA, and today will be more of a preview of the NBA Finals because we did come to a conclusion of the Eastern Conference Finals as well as the Western Conference Finals to find out our NBA Finals matchup, and that will be the Pacers and the Thunder. So we got the Indiana Pacers, who have not won a title since... or ever. I don't think they've ever won a title.
I don't know if they've ever won a title.
Yeah,
they haven't been there since 2000.
Right. So it's been 25 years. It's been
That's crazy.
that's
Quarter
so
of a
wild.
century.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, hold on.
25
We
years.
have to hold on.
Oh my god.
Hold on, guys. You guys already know we have a tradition on this motherfucker. It's called the cracking of the celebratory beer, and it sounds like this.
Hey, ready?
Cheers.
I'm gonna
Cheers.
crack
Cheers.
a water bottle.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, yeah. Good shit. Okay, anyways, as he was saying, the NBA Finals this year will consist of the Oklahoma City Thunder, led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, versus the Indiana Pacers, led by
Pascal Siakam.
Pascal Siakam, the best player on the squad.
No kidding.
Tyrese Halliburton, also shout out to him. We got the yellow lights with the blue accent.
God.
Because we are Pacer proud over here. Let's go, baby!
No, we are not Pacer proud.
I know I'm a Warriors fan, but I have been saying since the beginning of the playoffs that the Pacers were going to be a hard team to beat. And look, who was right? Who was right here?
Yeah, I mean,
Who was right, Adam?
Okay, I did.
Were you
say,
right?
Okay, listen.
I don't think you were right.
Hey, I said the Knicks were gonna make it when they were in the first round. They were what? 2
Bro.
games off?
The Knicks are buns, son.
Bro, they're relax. They're not buns.
They're not buns, but they had a very bad game yesterday.
They did. They fell apart.
They shat the bed.
Completely defensive wise. The Pacers were just absolutely demolishing them, especially like on transition points. I think that's where they really lost the game. If I'm not mistaken, I think the Pacers were plus 75 or plus 80 the entire series on transition points, which is absolutely absurd through 6 games. So to be plus 80 points on the transition side of the ball is just, you're getting behind the defense before the defense even forms. And
before they even look back.
Right, yeah. Like on made buckets
wild.
too, not even on missed buckets, on made buckets. The Knicks will drop a mid-range shot or a layup or a 3-point shot, and they're made buckets. It's not like they were air balls and they rebound it and somebody's already in the backcourt. Like, these were made shots. They had to get out of bounds, inbound the ball, and then go all the way coast to coast, and then they get those points. And they were pretty efficient on that shooting when it comes to the transition points. And the Knicks had basically no transition points in terms of just getting behind the Pacers defense, because I think every single game of this series, minus maybe game 5, the Indiana Pacers were complete dominant on defense, and the Knicks had zero answers for them.
They should have swept
offense.
this series, honestly. If we're being honest, they should have.
No.
The
Knicks
okay.
I said it from the beginning that after the Knicks lost the first 2 games, that I knew that the Pacers were going to take the series, but I knew that the Knicks were too talented to be swept. So,
well, they were very close to being swept, though. They were like right there.
No, I mean,
yeah,
they won 2 games.
No, I know, but game 3, if the Knicks don't have that crazy comeback, then that they go 3 down. They go 3-0 down. That's like right there. You're in very bad territory. But anyways, let's look at the last game really fast. One thing I wanted to point out is maybe the Knicks were just tired. And maybe Thibodeau just ran these guys into the fucking ground, because again, you had Cat with 38 minutes, OG with 37, Mitchell Robinson with 30, which he should not be playing 30 in any game. I don't care how many rebounds he gets you. Jalen Bunsen, 34 points or 34 minutes, and Mikal Bridges another 32 minutes. So heavy minutes for the Knicks again, and like we talked about before, that's a Tom Thibodeau special. But Brunson really did have a bad game. 2 rebounds, 7 assists, 19 points only. Leading scorer for the Knicks, OG Anunoby.
Yeah, OG Anunoby with 24 points.
Who saw that coming?
He came in clutch from the mid-range. He was very efficient from mid-range this game.
Oh, he was the only one getting to the basket, too.
Yeah.
And then Josh Hart, a fucking terrible game. 6
Absolutely.
rebounds, 1 assist, 4 points only. So you could see right there where they were lacking in scoring. Mikal Bridges had 15. Landry Shamet off the bench with 12. Other than that, nobody off the bench really did much. And then you had Cat with 22, Mitchell Robinson with 8, and that rounds out the whole stat line for the Knicks. If you look at the Pacers on the other hand,
before we get to the Pacers, I want to kind of microscope some of these players on the Knicks.
Well, yeah. Hold on, let's get there, but let's just compare the scoring, like just the way that the Pacers, like top to bottom, people were scoring the ball. You had Pascal with 31. You have Tyrese Halliburton with 21. You have Nembhard with 14. Obi Toppin with 18. Miles Turner 11. Neesmith with 10. And then you have McConnell with 3 and Thomas Bryant with 11 and Mathurin with 4. So balanced scoring all through the roster for the Pacers, which is why I believe they ultimately won the series. But let's go back to the Knicks. What did you want to say about these guys?
I think the 2 biggest spotlights on the Knicks. Well, for one, I would go with Tom Thibodeau. His coaching was very questionable for a Game 6 elimination game. I think they played perfect basketball in Game 5. And after I saw their transition on defense that they made in Game 5 and how they were completely double teaming absolutely every single player that ever touched the ball in that game, and how it was just a swarm to that ball. I think that was great coaching. I think he must have said something to them in the locker room that got them fired up. And they were in elimination in Game 5. Right. So for them to be in elimination game in Game 5, they were like, all right, let's extend this series to a Game 6, which they did. And I expected the same kind of like game flow.
Intensity, too.
Yeah, game flow and intensity in Game 6. And I didn't see that whatsoever. There was lack of effort on the defense. There was lack of effort on getting to the rim from anyone outside of Mitchell Robinson. But before I get to Mitchell Robinson, I want to put Josh Hart on the microscope, and he played 22 minutes. 22 minutes is basically what, 2 quarters? He played 2 quarters of the game, which I would have had him in the game longer. I think so.
Yeah,
That's number one.
But I mean, he was inefficient.
I was about to get to that. Number 2 is, how do you play 22 minutes and only get 4 points? You're 1 for 6 from the field, 0 for 2 3-pointers, and one of those 3-pointers he airballed, which was just. It was at the end. They were chucking up threes like no tomorrow towards the end, which is understandable when you're down 20 points in a Game 6 elimination. So, 6 rebounds. He's always been a great rebounder, but to get 6 rebounds and that's it. Like, that's really all he did. Same thing with Mitchell Robinson. I believe he had 5 rebounds in the first quarter. And after that, he only had four rebounds the entire game, totaling to 9 rebounds, 0 assists, and 8 points. So he was crashing the board and he was getting to the rim and getting those offensive rebounds, but clearly he wasn't kicking it out to the right person if he had no assists, and he wasn't being able to get those putbacks if he only had 8 points. And that's on 30 minutes.
Yeah, and like I said, there's no business for Mitchell Robinson to be playing that much. But when you have a bench as kind of useless as the Knicks do, really, then, that is your only option to run with Towns. Another thing with Towns is I think he might have been hurt a little bit. He didn't play like it because, he was super aggressive.
An injured knee.
Right, but he went down in 3 different games at least once. And so I think and then like I said, with the amount of minutes that he's playing, I'm pretty sure there's some fatigue there and probably a little wear and tear on the body for most of these guys on this roster. And that's also maybe why Josh Hart didn't play so much. Not only was he inefficient, maybe he was just tired and they could see he didn't have his legs. And then you're kind of like a defensive liability at that point.
I think the entire Knicks roster was a defensive liability, and it's specifically in Game 6. We have not seen good defense from this team in multiple games in the playoffs, except for Game 5. I think Game 5 was an outlier, and I think that was what gave a lot of the fans, including me, hope to maybe extend it to a Game 7 and maybe even take it after their transition on defense. And I saw a complete 180 from their defense and their team, just like crashing boards and how they were double teaming, and the help side defense was there, and it was all flowing. It was flowing like water, and they held the Pacers to under 100 points in Game 5, and that was the first time that the Pacers hadn't scored over 100 points the entire playoff run. So I was like, this is it. They found out the answer. They were able to lock down Halliburton, and he was, I think, under 10 points that game.
Yeah, I think he had 8 points in that.
Yeah, he had like 8 or 9 points. So in order to shut down Halliburton, and not just Halliburton, but the entire team in that game, I think that was it was like something clicked for them. Their highest scorer in that game was Benedict Mathurin with 23 points. So for Benedict Mathurin with 23 points to be your highest scorer, that says a lot for what your defense did in that game. And then you come back Game 6, Madison Square Garden, and you would expect more or less the same, but
no, they weren't in Madison Square Garden.
Oh, I'm sorry. They were.
Yeah, and that's part of
in Indiana.
That's part of also the reason that Indy came out so hot. It was because they're playing at home, and then
they came out hot in the second half.
Well, what I mean is their intensity was there. Their defensive intensity was there the whole game. And when you're playing at home, the crowd gives you that energy, which is probably why in Game 5 you saw the Knicks so fired up, because they were playing in MSG. Yeah. So they kind of fed off that energy in the crowd environment and everything. But then when they went back to Indy, the script flipped, and you saw it right away, because they Siakam really had his way with the whole series almost. Especially in the last game, though, he really showed his versatility, his ability to score, and then his ability to just make big, timely shots. That was big for Siakam. And then Halliburton too. He had 13 assists again.
Yeah, Pascal Siakam has just been a dog in this series. 31 in this last game with 3 blocks, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal to go along with that. And not to mention that he was 3 from 5 from the arc. And then in Game 5, he was 15. Game 4, it was 30 points. Game what is this, 2? No, game 3, he was 17. Game 2, he was 39. And game 1, it was 17. He has not scored less than, 15 points was his lowest, and that was game 5 when the defense really locked them all up. But before that, it was 17, 39, 17, 30, and then 31. So he's scored 30 or more points in 3 of the 6 games, which is 50% of the games. And I think if he can carry that momentum on into the finals, which they are going to be going up against a very, very, very intense defense in Oklahoma City.
Way better defense.
Way better defense. This is going to be day and night. So, I mean, I still think the Pacers can push it to at least 6 games. I don't think this series goes out in under 6 games. I think 6 is the minimum, but I don't know. I'm going to stick to my guns and say that the East does win it because I don't want to switch up like that. So I'm going to say that the East wins it. But I can absolutely see the Pacers not winning this game just because of how dominant their defense is in Oklahoma and how this is a complete 180 turn from the Knicks.
Well, I can understand that, right? But at the same time, I do think that the Pacers have way more offensive weapons than the Thunder will be able to handle.
Agreed.
And I think and we've talked about this ad nauseum that SGA can only do so much, right? So where's that second option going to come from? We saw Holmgren's been coming on a little bit now since the playoffs have really gotten going. He's kind of gotten better throughout the whole entirety of the playoffs. But now they're going to have a few days of rest. So is that going to really, shake up their momentum, shake up their rhythm? And then Indy will be probably as consistent as they've been. But like I said, how you're going to have to decide when you're playing defense for the Thunder. Who are you going to sell out on? Are you going to sell out on Halliburton, or are you going to sell out on Siakam, because you can't sell out on both?
Right, and even when you sell out on those guys, you still have their role players who can come into play, and even guys like T.J. McConnell off the bench. But that's not to mention Miles Turner or Andrew Nembhard or even Obi Toppin. Like Aaron Nesmith also had that 3-point barrage in that game. So any of these guys can really come alive, and Miles Turner being a center and how he can be deadly from the 3-point range, I think that says a lot about the depth of this team and just how well-rounded they are. And I think people overlook that, and people are like, oh, the Thunder are the most well-rounded team because of who they have and how young they are, and they had the most wins. They won 68 games, and sure, 68 games is great. Like I'm not knocking that, because that is a feat that not a lot of teams have done, especially at how young they are. But I think that, we have seen them. They're a young team. They've made it to the finals. Congratulations for them. But this is make or break. Is experience going to prevail here with Miles Turner being in, I believe, year 7 or year 8? You have Pascal Siakam, who's won a championship before. This is going to be Tyrese Halliburton's first final appearance, but he's looked like an absolute pro throughout these finals, and it looks like he's done this time and time again. And this is probably his first, I guess you can call it a Cinderella run, but I wouldn't. This is a dominant performance from the Pacers that they've been putting on. This is not a Cinderella run. But in terms of like 1-year wonders, I guess you could consider it something like that.
It's hard to, in the NBA, it's hard to have consistent playoff runs. You've seen that. You have some of the best players that are in the league, not even in the playoffs at this point. You know what I mean? So it's really tough to be able to replicate this season in and season out. And then with the NBA, the rosters turn over a lot. So it's hard to keep a core group together. Golden State's probably been the one franchise that has been able to do that. But it's going to be very, very, very interesting to see if the Thunder can match the scoring of the Pacers. That's what it's going to come down to, because both teams are going to play good defense. But who besides SGA is going to take up some of that scoring for the Thunder? Because if Siakam and Halliburton are firing, then you're going to have a lot of trouble for the Thunder trying to contain them.
Right, and I think that's it's a blessing and a curse with the Thunder to be such a well-rounded team the way they are.
And so young, too.
Right, but they don't have a solidified 2, and that's what we've talked about.
Right.
And Chet, I got shit on, Chris, for saying Chet.
You said his name wrong.
I thought it was pronounced like Charlotte, like Chet, Charlotte, but I guess it's like Chet, like
Chet.
Cheerios.
Yeah.
So Chet, how young he is, he can take over a game. We know that Shea is going to get 30 a night. That he's Mr. Consistent. He's MVP. That's what he's made his MVP MVP campaign on. It's not like his stats are bloated by like 2, 3, 4 games where he had like 50 points. He's just Mr. Consistent where he's scoring 30 a night, and you can bet on him scoring 30 a night. And probably about 90 to 95% of the time, he's going to hit that line. And he's done that so far in these playoffs. But there too could be anybody of the starting 5. It could be Jalen Williams. It could be Chet Holmgren. It could be Isaiah Hartenstein. It could be Lou Dort. It could be the other Jalen Williams. You know, like it can be any one of these guys. Even AJ Mitchell off the bench. Like all these guys they have the potential to take over a game and score 20, 30, 40 a night. It's just a matter of who's going to step up to the plate and who's going to be that solidified 2, or are they not going to have a solidified 2, and are they going to keep playing ball the way that they've been playing? And okay, Chet, you're going to get your night. J-Dub, you're going to get your night. Lou Dort, you're going to get your night. Maybe Hartenstein has a big game. Maybe he has like 14 boards and 12 assists in a game. Like we don't know what this team is capable of in a finals setting.
Yeah, I mean, they will have home court advantage to start, so it's going to be very important for them to at least split those first 2 games. We did see Indy take the first 2 against New York in New York, so Indy can win on the road, which is going to be very big to see if they can go in still at least 1, maybe 2 in OKC and then take it back to Indy. I think the Indy home court advantage is also very real because Halliburton seems to play on another level when he's at home. So that's going to be interesting as well. But one of the things that I was noticing too, the last game that the Thunder had when they took down the Wolves, 4-1, so almost like a quasi sweep, a gentleman's sweep, if you will. And one of the things that we had talked about was with the Timberwolves, right? How bad was fuck, I'm blanking out right here.
Anthony Edwards?
No, not him. Julius Randle again.
Oh.
I mean, he had 24 points. He led the game in scoring for the T-Wolves, but he was so inconsistent. He had one good game against the Thunder. That's the one that they won. And then after that, he kind of fell off. And I told you, that team goes as Randle goes, and it really showed this series.
Yeah, Randall was not good whatsoever. I think it was game 3 that he had like a triple single where he posted like 8 points and 6
game 3
assists.
he fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah, so I mean, I actually beg to differ. I think this team goes as Anthony Edwards goes, and I was talking about how like his inconsistencies are kind of holding this team back from their full potential, and everybody was kind of like, oh, well, he's young, he's going to get better. Like, yeah, I completely agree. I think he's going to only get better. He's going to learn from his mistakes. He's going to get better. But the problem is in the NBA moves so fast. Like next year or in the next 2-3 years, if he does peak and maybe he is like the number 1 player in basketball, maybe he's like advanced to another level, this roster might not look the same. They may not have Rudy Gobert. They may not have Naz Reid, who are their 2 major bigs. Julius Randle just got traded from the Knicks to the Wolves. He could be traded somewhere else. Maybe Jaden McDaniel moves on. He's a little bit older, and so is Mike Conley. You know, like this team could look completely different. And maybe Anthony Edwards does elevate his game, but maybe it might be too late. Like, I don't know what this core is going to look like in 2-3 years when that time does come.
These guys kind of remind me like of the Memphis Grizzlies. Like they had some good playoff runs, but then eventually the team is going to get
Steven Adams.
Yeah, they're going to get blown up at some point. So
yeah.
I still think next year you do run it back with AE and then Julius because those are your 2-star players. But yeah, your role players are definitely going to switch. You probably won't have Dante DiVincenzo on the roster. You probably won't have Mike Conley Jr. Naz Reid, he is going to garner some trade interest for sure. And then I still think Gobert sticks around because I don't think there's much of a market for him. He only played 19 minutes in that last game, too. That's kind of alarming. 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 points. So Gobert was really a shell of himself as well. But
I mean, Jaden McDaniels, too. 21 minutes, 5 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist.
Yeah, I mean, he's another role player that really relies on the 3 ball. I think I saw he like missed like 3 in a row at one point, and like he just lost his confidence. So that does happen with shooters when they are in slumps. They will start shying away from shooting the ball. But the main thing that you have to do is if you're a shooter, you just keep shooting, man. I mean, you're not going to make every single one of them, but you have to keep putting up the volume. So I think overall, very disappointing showing for the Timberwolves. Considering they knocked out LeBron and Luka, for them to go out like this was very anticlimactic for them as a franchise, I think.
I also want to correct myself. I called Jaden McDaniels old, and I was referring to Mike Conley.
Yeah, Mike Conley's the old head on this.
Yeah.
Mike Conley, Naz Reid is up there too. Gobert's up there too. DiVincenzo's, he's not young, but he's not old. Nickeil Alexander-Walker should also be
young.
He should also probably be part of that core going forward.
Yeah, I think he steps into a starting role maybe with Anthony Edwards and kind of complements him. I don't know. Jaden McDaniels is pretty solid, though. Oh, he's a forward, though. So he could step into Mike Conley's role as a guard, and then Anthony Edwards stay the one. So I think maybe Nickeil Alexander-Walker could complement Anthony Edwards in the near future. You said, I think Rudy Gobert sticks around as their center, but I think Mike Conley could move on.
They need to find a role for Gobert, though, because obviously he was very, especially in this series, like he had zero impact on every single game.
Yeah.
And he's probably, when you're looking at your payroll on your roster, he's probably the second or third highest earner. And if he's giving you absolutely nothing, especially in these big series, that's not good. So they're going to need to figure out a way for him to be more involved and to try to get him maybe just rim running the whole time. I don't even know what they can do for him.
Okay, I'm going to look at this. In the last two series.
Look at this.
How many?
Somebody look at this.
What do you think Gobert's highest scoring game has been in the last two series? Which
probably
is
like 18 points.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I feel
9,
like
10.
I haven't seen him go over 20 in a while.
In the last 10 games, how many points has he scored? Like the highest?
I'm saying like 18.
17.
You see, I knew it right
You want to
there.
know what his next highest is?
Like 12.
Yeah, 13.
You see,
And then after that,
very inconsistent.
After that,
man.
9, 9, 8, 5, 2, 5, 2.
But Gobert doesn't help himself because he can't shoot.
Yeah,
like he can't even step into a mid-range jump shot.
It's paint or nothing for him.
Yeah, and it's like that you when you can't shoot the ball, especially in this era of the NBA,
right?
You really are a fucking liability.
If Rudy Gobert played in like the 1940s, he'd be an anomaly. Like he'd be up there
so
with Will.
Big. They'd be like, what's up with this guy? Why is he so tall?
He'd be like, what do we even do with this guy?
But yeah, very disappointing from the Thunderwolves, like you like to call them.
Oh yeah, the Thunderwolves.
Very, very, very disappointed from the Timberwolves this year.
I think the Thunderwolves should still be a team.
I'm petitioning for that. I'm actually writing
the Tallahassee Thunderwolves.
Yeah, I'm starting a petition to get them to be a new franchise in Nashville. That's what I want.
No, you know who would pick them up? Illinois, the Illinois Thunderwolves.
No, they already have Chicago, dude. You cannot put another basketball team in Illinois. It doesn't make any sense. It has to be somewhere that has no team.
I feel like they're a rich enough city to do it.
No, but the Bulls already own that market, dude. There's no way. There's absolutely no way that would work. Anyways, RIP the Timberwolves and
RIP the Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, and I guess
season.
in the West, it really shook out the way that the seeding went with the Thunder just kind of not easily working through the playoffs, but they did win convincingly in every series. So I mean, they did what they had to do. And now we'll see how they match up against Indy. I'm taking Indy in 6. I don't know about you.
Ooh, you're taking Indy in 6?
I'm taking Indy all the way. I mean, I would want to say in 5, but I need to see how game 1 goes first.
Yeah, I need to see how game 1 goes first. I'm not going to say an amount of games yet, but I do say Indy goes. I say Indy wins it. I'm rooting for the Thunder because I definitely don't want to see... Like, this is my bias speaking.
Why are you rooting for the Thunder, though?
I just don't like Tyrese, bro. Like,
dude, why do people hate on that guy?
Listen, I'm not saying he's overrated. I'm not.
He's not overrated, bro.
He is. I agree. He's not overrated. He's
what's crazy? Hold on.
He's underrated, if anything.
Yes. Before you go on,
okay.
Him and De'Aaron Fox were on the same team with the Kings.
Yeah.
And now the Kings don't have any of them. They have Sabonis.
They traded for Sabonis.
I know, but that's what I'm saying is that like that franchise, the Kings should be like stay away from them
too, bro. The Mavs had Luka. Okay, I know Luka was just recently, but still, they had Luka, Jalen Brunson, and Kristaps Porzingis all on one team.
Right. But I mean, okay.
And look at them all now.
Yeah, but none of them have been to a final.
Luka?
Well, okay, yeah, but like
Luka took that team to the finals.
Right, but the other two, like Kristaps is not
Okay,
good.
but like Brunson is the one on the Knicks.
He's probably the best one that you're like, damn, we shouldn't let him go.
Because
right?
like those are
but then at the same time, you have Kyrie.
What
though.
if series? You know,
Right.
like
But you have Kyrie now, so you kind of like,
okay, look,
it's a like for like kind of swap.
Kyrie's great, but he's older now. He's not in his prime anymore.
No, I know, but he's still an NBA
Plus,
champion.
now he's going to be coming off of an ACL.
Right, which is just natural in the NBA.
Right. And on top of that, you're what, 33, 32?
Kyrie is still him. There's not a big difference between him and Brunson, especially in the playoffs. You could probably say if they're both playing at their peak that you would rather have Kyrie.
Okay, yeah, peak, I'm going to say Kyrie.
Because Kyrie will hit those big shots.
But
like
right
huge,
now,
huge
like
shots.
right now, I'm still choosing Brunson.
Yeah. Right now, for longevity wise, yeah, of course.
Well, not even longevity wise. Like if I had to put them both on, if they were both the one on my team and I was starting the team to go into the playoffs, I'm choosing Brunson.
I don't know.
Like right now, if you're talking 2017 peak, obviously.
No, I'm just saying Kyrie healthy, even now, is still very, very good. And he's a big shot maker.
He is, but oh man, that's rough.
It is rough, but all I'm saying is they're like for like in a way. And what I was going back to with the Kings is that it's crazy that you had those two guys on the same roster and you couldn't make it work, and you literally trade Halliburton for Sabonis.
Yeah,
which is absolutely crazy. And Sabonis is a good player. He's not
He's
not
a great
dog
rebounder.
shit. He's not. No, he's a good shooter. He's a very good mid-range
like
player.
16 rebounds a
Yeah,
game.
he's a good big man to have, right? But like you had a generational talent with Halliburton, and you let him.
You're throwing that around right now.
No, dude, generational. Look, he just literally went to the Pacers, and within a few years has them in the finals. And yes, Siakam is a big help. But I mean, the Pacers before in the recent history had been a bottom feeder in the East for a while now. You know what I mean? I mean, it's been, like you said, 25 years since they even made the finals. So, I mean, he just really was able to change that franchise around, and he did it in a pretty short time, if you think about it, without another big name. I mean, Siakam's a big name, but he doesn't have that star second running mate.
Yeah.
And Siakam is making a name for himself now, but before this season, nobody was picking Indy to fucking make the finals. Nobody.
Oh, yeah. Well, because they had one of the worst starts to the season.
Yeah. But it's not in the NBA too. It's not how you start, it's how you finish the season.
Right.
Because these guys got hot at the right time, and they took down some very good teams in the East, and now they're poised to take down. Well, I don't know if they'll take them down. I'm hoping they will. But if they beat the Thunder, this is a historic playoff run for any team.
Absolutely. I mean, the Pacers came into the playoffs as the number 4 seed, so it's not like that they were like a play-in team. They were a solidified team at 50 wins and 32 losses, but nobody assumed that.
Yeah,
or
nobody saw this coming.
I mean, people probably took the Pistons and the Bucks to be in the finals over them.
The Bucks for sure.
At the very beginning.
The Knicks for sure.
Yeah, so like I think everybody around them was probably favored more to even make the Eastern Conference Finals over them, including like the Pistons. Like I think if you look back like right before the start of the playoffs, I think the Pistons probably would have been favored to go to the Eastern Conference Finals over the Pacers.
Yeah, probably, yeah. But now in hindsight, now thinking about that,
you're like, well, that's stupid.
But one thing I will say about Halliburton is just his ability to take care of the ball and to make everybody around him better has elevated to this team to another level. And then when he's shooting the ball like good and he's getting to the bucket, I think in the last game against the Knicks, he hit like 4 buckets in a row towards the end to really seal the deal. And that's like how you know this is a big time player, where they're not going to shy away from the moment and they want the ball in their hands.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, flowers to Brunson and Cat. I mean, yes, they lost, but they got much further than I think people expected. Jalen Brunson took that Knicks team to the second round of the playoffs, I believe, last year. It might have been the first round that they got eliminated in. No, it was the conference semifinals. They again lost to the Pacers, but before that, they didn't have Karl Anthony Towns, and I think that Karl Anthony Towns was the piece that elevated them to the level that they were playing at this year. And yes, I get it, they lost, and you can make the case for saying, oh, well, it didn't really change much. They only got a round further, but a round further is a big difference.
It's a big step.
It is a really big step, and I think that he didn't have that too last year. I mean, I'm looking at
Julius Randle,
the 2024. It was May 19th, 2024, Game 7. Actually, it was 3-4. Their leading scorer was
it's probably Brunson still.
Dante DiVincenzo with 39.
Dante, that's crazy.
He had 39 that game, and
Fucking
Brunson only
Dante.
had 17. But I mean, look at the minutes that they played. Brunson only played 29. I don't even know if he got hurt in that game or something, or he just didn't catch fire. But DiVincenzo played 41 minutes. Good Lord. And then in that game, I mean, Tyrese Halliburton had 26 points and only 6 assists. So we've seen how his game has completely hit a 180 where, sure, he might still score less points at 22, 24, 26, but his assists have literally doubled.
Also, I think DiVincenzo, they should have tried to hang on to him in that trade with the Timberwolves. I know they wanted to get rid of Julius, so they brought in Cat, but right then in this series, you saw where they were missing another knockdown shooter. Like Miles McBride is not it. You much rather have Dante DiVincenzo coming off the bench and shooting the 3 ball for you.
I think Deuce McBride is a good player. I think he's more of like a role player. He's not going to step into a starting role, and he's definitely not going to take over Brunson's starting spot. But I think he's a good role player to have coming off the bench.
But you could have used DiVincenzo in this series for sure. Especially on the defensive end.
In addition to Cat, yes.
Right, in addition to
But
Cat. What I'm saying is that
rather have
they
him over
should
Cat.
have no. They could have figured out a way to get that trade done while
Without-
keeping DiVincenzo on the roster.
Well,
That's all I'm
I mean,
saying.
they were the Nova Knicks last year. They had DiVincenzo, they had Josh Hart,
And the reason that fucking DiVincenzo probably wanted to get out or was okay with the trade was because he saw his minutes were evaporating. In New
No,
York.
I feel like they were through the roof in New York. I think the reason
No, this year. Like prior to the trade, I think DiVincenzo saw writing on the wall that he wasn't going to be as used heavily in the rotation going forward.
I get you.
And so, but at the same time, if you're the Knicks, you should have tried to do that trade and keep Dante on the roster.
Wow,
Get rid of Miles McBride instead, honestly.
Yeah, get rid of Deuce and keep
Yeah,
Dante.
yeah. Keep Dante.
I don't know. I
a
think
veteran 3-point shooter that can guard almost any position on the perimeter, so he's not going to play in the post. But he's also experienced. He's played with the Warriors. He's played with all these guys at Villanova. He played with the Bucks and Giannis. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he has a pedigree that is valuable in these types of games where you see guys that can come to play like DiVincenzo has, and he's shown that before. Or you have a guy like Deuce McBride, who's like, he hasn't shown you too much in the postseason. But that's all I'm getting at is they should have done that trade and kept DiVincenzo if possible.
Wow,
which
I
don't know if salaries would have matched or whatever, but I'm sure there's a way you get a third team involved or something.
What a difference that a year can make. You know, the Pistons were the 6th seed this year. They were the last team.
Yeah, they had the worst record in the league.
They had the worst record last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
14 and
NBA
68.
rosters turn over really, really fast. And that's why you're going to see next year a team like San Antonio being involved in the playoffs now because of the additions that they've already made, plus the number 1 pick that they're going to have, which we're all assuming is Cooper Flag.
No, that's
Or the Mavericks,
that's
sorry.
the Mavericks.
But, I mean, the Spurs are going to pick 3, or 2 or 3, so they're going to have another high draft pick to add to that roster.
I think they have the 2nd pick.
Yeah, they have the 2nd or the 3rd. But anyways, you're going to see those, like a team like the Spurs be involved next year. And then also the Mavericks will probably also be in the hunt for playoff contention as well.
Yeah, I believe the second player to go off the board, I think, is going to be Ace Bailey, or I think it's VJ Edgecombe is who it is.
The Spurs could even trade out of that and pick up some more
get
picks,
some capital,
or get some cap room to do a signing trade with with another big star. So, but yeah, so I'm excited about these NBA finals. It sucks the season is almost over. I love me some NBA. And I truly do believe this is the best time of the year for basketball.
We are in the last couple weeks of NBA.
Yeah, it's really sad, man.
It's gonna end.
It's really sad, and then it's
if it has to go to 7 games, June 22nd will be the last day.
Yeah, and it's
so we got 21 days.
Yeah, and then for me, I'm like, this is like we're getting towards the end.
And
of
we
Steph
only
Curry's
have I know, huh?
That's
We only
what's,
have
like,
a
scaring me.
guaranteed 12 more days of basketball.
Yeah, that's
guaranteed because that's game 4.
That sucks. I hate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to the NBA. Really fast, I wanted to read you some potential trade scenarios that I saw.
How many minutes are we in?
We're about 40 minutes in right now.
Okay.
But we'll do that, and then we'll do 5 random questions, and then we will fucking end this. But these are just some these are on Bleacher Report, right?
Yeah.
And so like there's a lot of speculation right now. There's a lot of guys that are potentially on the trading block. And one of the first ones that I saw was actually the Warriors. Everybody knows that Jonathan Kuminga is probably going to be, I would say they're going to trade him this year. But one of the trades that is up here would be Jonathan Kuminga being traded to the Chicago Bulls for Kobe White, who's another shooting guard. The guy has a big afro if you've seen him out there.
No.
I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I don't like that at all. Okay, so Kobe White started his career with San Antonio, right?
Yes.
Or is that just where he last played?
No, he's still with Chicago right now.
No.
But he started with San Antonio. He was
started
drafted by the Spurs. Yes.
Yeah, so Kobe White, I mean, he's a great shooter. It's just
He's a good ball handler too.
Yeah, he is, but I think he is probably. I mean, he is good off ball. So now that I think about it, so I feel like that's exactly what Curry needs is somebody that's good in off ball because we clearly saw that Jimmy Butler may not be the answer for them, but I think the answer that Golden State was looking for that they didn't really know is that they need a big on that court.
Well, they need a big, but they also need a secondary ball handler.
Well, like, see, I think that's where this comes into play. So if you get a big, like, okay, obviously this is a far-fetched idea, but I saw that they are running mates for potentially getting Giannis in the
I don't think they'll do that.
I don't think they'll do it either. But I'm just saying, in this scenario, you have Steph Curry, you have Jimmy Butler, who will become the off-ball handler in the offseason where he trains with Curry more. He has a full offseason to learn their plays and learn how Curry flows through the game. He already had like a quarter of the season with Curry. So you get someone like Giannis who is going to be the 2 on that team. And then you put Jimmy at probably not the 3 position, but he's going to be the 3rd option on that team. I think that'll work a little bit better because if your 3rd option is Jimmy Butler, who can get 14 to 18 points a game and average maybe like 8 rebounds and like 4 assists, I think that's a very good 3 option. And then you have Curry, who's probably still going to be your number 1 option, and he averaged 30 points. And then if you get someone like Giannis in that position, and you get him, not only is he your best big on the court now, but he could be your best shooter any given night, scoring 34 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 assists. You know,
I just think that if they did trade for Antetokounmpo, it would really deplete the rest of the roster, and I don't think they can afford that.
Right.
Because these guys are getting older, all 3 of them.
I think the only way they do that is if Curry really, really pleads to the office and says, "I want one more championship before I dip."
Right.
You know?
But like I think like one of the positions that was hurting the Warriors the most, or one of the players that hurt them the most in the playoffs, was Brandon Podziemski. So you have to have that secondary point guard, and that's where someone like Kobe White could come in. So another trade that I was looking at, and I don't know why everybody is so high on this guy. This was a trade that would involve the Mavericks and the Celtics, and it would be the Mavericks acquiring guard Drew Holiday for PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, Oliver McSince Prosper, and a 2029 first-round pick protected. I don't understand why Drew Holiday would command such a haul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's he's a great defender, great shooter, but I don't like that for the Mavericks at all.
So
honestly.
so Drew Holiday, if he were to be added to this current Mavs team, I think that's a great addition. I think if you get rid of maybe one of those guys, that's a great addition because Drew Holiday, yes, he is much older already. He's probably maybe like 34 now, but he is an all-star defensive player and he is a great shooter when he needs to be. So I think when he's added to this Mavericks current team, I think he can be very great in a position like that. But the problem is if you get rid of Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington plus a protected pick, I think that is way too much of a haul for somebody that's at the back end of the career and
Yeah.
probably won't even win you a championship.
Yeah, he's more just of a complimentary piece. So that's why I'm like, why does he command so much?
Yeah, that's a far-fetched one.
Yeah. Another trade involves the Celtics as well. This time with the Orlando Magic, they would actually be trading Jaylen Brown from the Celtics for Jonathan Isaac, Anthony Black, Moritz Wagner, and a 2028 first round pick, and a 2030 first rounder as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna say absolutely not to that pick.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be mad about it because Jaylen Brown is
the only
we already know what he is, right? We already know what he is, and Tatum is going to be the wild card.
Exactly. Okay. Well, so here's the thing: is yes, Tatum becomes a wild card because of his Achilles rupture.
Right.
He is young. He's going to come back from this. But when he does come back from this, is he the same player that we saw right before the Achilles tear? Is he still going to be that threat that can drop 50 points a night along with 12 rebounds and 7 assists? Is that going to be the Tatum that we see on the court? Or is the Tatum that we see going to be like a Derek White type of scenario? Or no, not Derek White. Derek Rose type of scenario where he comes back and he's just a shell of himself.
I don't see that. I see him coming back to almost his full potential again.
Right, and I would agree, but it's in these what if scenarios, and you never know what happens. And like you said, Jaylen Brown is somebody that has already solidified himself as a top player in the league. So with Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum being out the majority of the season, at least next season, on top of the fact that you don't know how he's going to come back, I think holding on to a piece like that, and let's say Jason Tatum, worst case scenario, he becomes a shell of what he was after the injury. Worst case scenario, you at least hold on to somebody that you can still build around, and then maybe use Tatum as draft capital bait or whatever.
I mean, you would still get pieces for the future though. Jonathan Isaac, Anthony Black, and Moritz Wagner are all very young. Wagner's a big guy, and then
Wagner's probably the oldest of the three. In that
two guards that can really shoot the ball in Isaac and Black. So I don't know, very interesting. But if they did move on from Brown, I think that would also mean that Porzingis would be staying in Boston. Let's go. I got two more really fast.
And I think if I was Boston, I would rather move on from Porzingis than Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, of course. Okay, the next one involves the Cavaliers and the Brooklyn Nets. Ooh. So this would be the Cavs acquiring Cam Johnson, power forward from the Brooklyn Nets, and they would actually be moving on from Jared Allen and Jalen Tyson, who I don't think plays too much. But that seems like a more feasible
seems very reasonable. Yeah,
trade, and a trade that can help both.
Jared Allen is a great big. I mean, he commands a lot of the paint and he gets a lot of rebounds. But who did you say that they would trade for?
They would get Cam Johnson. Yeah.
So Cam Johnson, he's a very young forward. He is. Oh well, maybe not young.
He's not that young. He's been in the league for a while. He's spent some time with Phoenix as well.
Okay, so he's 29 years old. He's not at the back end of his career, but he's also not at the beginning. I think this is a time where he's. It's like make or break if he enters a prime or not, and then probably exits the league at like 34, 35.
He's a knockdown shooter, but the thing with Jared Allen is that Evan Mobley's eating into his role. Like big time.
Yeah, I can definitely
that's
see
where
how
you can
conflicts.
See where you're like, okay, I have two bigs, I might as well not have one. So let's get rid of Allen. Let's bring in another knockdown shooter, another good defender, and then we can leave Mobley as the solidified center.
Yeah, and I think that also works because Cleveland doesn't really have like a dominant forward right now. But if you get rid of Jared Allen, then that also kind of like gets rid of your center, your solidified center. So it's like it's almost a trade-off. It's like, which one would you rather have, a great center or a
you still have Mobley
forward?
Though. That's what I'm saying. Evan Mobley's your center.
Yeah, I guess
that guy's 6'11".
But he kind of primarily plays a forward role.
Right, but I mean, you can rotate him down. I mean, the league is trending small, so you're not going to want to run both of them out there. I actually kind of
feel like the league is starting to trend big again.
No, well, what I mean is guys that are big that can play small. Like Mobley can shoot the ball.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not going to just be in the paint commanding
Same
the ball.
thing with this guy. I mean, Cam Johnson's what, like 6'9"?
Yeah, he's 6'9". He can shoot. So that's what I'm saying is like, yeah, these guys, the league is trending small where what I mean is that you can only play one big man on the floor at one time. You can't play two of them.
Right. And I mean, Jared Allen is taking up a lot of the cap right now. I mean, he's 20 mil is what he's at right now.
Yeah.
He's he's the third highest paid player.
Okay, last one would involve Milwaukee and Phoenix. And this one is kind of interesting.
Oh man, don't tell me it's Kevin Durant.
No. So it would actually be the Bucks acquiring Bradley Beal.
Oh.
And then they would actually send Damian Lillard to the Suns.
Oh, why do I kind of like that?
That's kind of crazy, huh?
Why do I kind of like that?
But-
you know what?
but
Okay,
then,
I like
hold
that
on.
for Dame. I don't like that for the Suns, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, but we don't even know if they're going to hang on to KD.
We don't even know if the Bucks are going to hang on to their two best players, which is Dame and Giannis.
Yeah,
and I think
mean,
that's what's scary going forward.
that is
If you're a Milwaukee fan, I think if you do move on from Giannis and Lillard, you are looking to acquire a lot of draft capital.
And Bradley Beal ain't it.
And Bradley Beal is definitely not it. I mean, how old is Bradley Beal now? Like 28?
Yeah, but I mean, he's peaked. Let's just say it that way. I'm being nice.
Yeah, that's being generous.
I mean, dude, the guy runs with Devin Booker and KD, and
He's 31. I thought he was younger than that.
And he still cannot like reap the benefits from having the defenses guard those two guys more than they're guarding him. So I think Bradley Beal is already kind of. I mean, I think he peaked with the Wizards, and I think we've already seen the best of his career behind us.
Lillard is a point or a shooting?
He could run both because he can ball
But
handle.
he's primarily a point guard, right?
Yeah, he'll play the point, but I mean, he can shoot the ball with the volume of a shooting guard, but he can also run the offense. So you get the best of both worlds from Dame.
I think that could work.
But yeah, Bradley Beal. Wow.
I think that would be a great trade for the Suns. It would be a horrible trade for Milwaukee. Who did you say Milwaukee acquires? Not only do they acquire Bradley Beal, but they get what?
No, that's it. It would just be a 1-for-1. Bradley.
Ain't no way it's a 1-for-1.
Well, I mean,
Dame is so much.
No, I know. But remember, Dame's going to be hurt to start the season.
True.
So
Yeah,
you're
he
giving
has
up
his Achilles.
Yeah, you're giving up a player that's not even going to touch the floor for you probably for a good
5 months, 4 months.
Yeah, like a good
at least
3/4 of the season. So
yeah.
But yeah, the idea is that if this does happen, that
it's an equal 1-for-1 trade.
Right, but it would only happen probably if Antetokounmpo stays with the Bucks, which we don't know what's going to happen. But those are from Bleacher Report, so shout out to them for throwing together these mock trades. I really like just seeing what people are putting together just to see. It makes the offseason interesting, you know?
Yeah, it does. I like mock trades, but I also kind of don't like mock trades just because people get like extreme and excessive with them, and they're like, oh, we're gonna send a star player for a fucking 6th-round pick, you know? Or like sometimes it's like not so much of a star player and it's like a haul of picks plus players. Like
Yeah. No, I feel you. But that's why it's called a mock trade there, brother.
You're right.
So all right, so let's get ready to wrap this up. You want to do 5 random questions, or what do you want to do on this?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Should I scroll through my notes here?
Sure, why
Let's
not?
see. Let's see what we got. Let's
something interesting going on here.
Okay, all right. So let's get some. Should we get some production here?
Some beats.
I think we should get some beats.
Some
in here.
flight beats in here.
I mean, it's the same ones that I've been playing because that's all I have on my phone. But let's go ahead and get into it. This is 5 random questions, the Sideline Podcast. These questions are just that. They're random. We're gonna start with Adam. And then he'll throw it back to me, and we'll get some questions going on my end too.
Throw it back to you, Pop.
Not like that, yo. Chill. Okay. Question number 1. What is your favorite aisle in the grocery store? And you love a grocery store.
I do.
You live at Walmart.
You know what? I think my favorite. I don't have like a favorite aisle, but like section.
A section?
Yeah,
Which
my
section?
favorite section is just like the electronics section.
Yeah.
I'm
Always.
just like a nerd at heart, and
Yeah,
I would walk into Toys R Us when it was still around, and I would go straight to the gaming section.
Right.
Like I didn't care about no toys. Like
Yeah, toys are trash.
exactly. Like I went straight to the Wii games and like the PlayStation games. Like those are the best.
Dude, Walmart section back in the day when they used to let you play the Xbox or the PlayStation.
I was telling my
Goated.
girlfriend about that, and then she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Do you not remember that? Like that was iconic."
Yep.
And then she's like, "I don't know. Like I never went." I was like, "Bro, like that was the only section I was ever in Walmart." But
Yeah, that's a good section. I mean, my favorite aisle would probably be the cereal aisle.
Oh my God.
I love cereal, dude.
Dude, seriously?
Yeah.
That's your favorite section?
Yeah.
Like you had to choose one section in Walmart?
Yeah, dude. I'll spend 3 hours in a cereal aisle.
Wow.
Just fucking looking.
Looking at that tiger?
Good. Look at all this grain.
Oh my God.
All right. Question number 2. Who pays on the first date, Adam? Oh, the guy or the girl?
You know what?
Or do you split?
I'm going to hot take.
Hot
Whoever asked the other person out. So if the
Oh.
girl asks the guy out, the girl pays. Because like,
Because
why?
she's
okay,
initiating it. What if you're broke,
exactly,
right? You're like,
exactly.
fuck, I do want to
'Cause
go
it's
out.
Like, it's like if you were the girl and I asked.
Why do I have to be the girl? What?
Okay, if I'm
Why?
the girl,
Yeah, that's
if
better.
I'm the girl and I asked you out, why would I be like, hey, do you want to go to
State
Dave and
Line.
Buster's? Oh yeah, State Line, sure. If you want to, if you want to go to State Line, and then you're like, yeah, and then we get there and I'm like, okay, like, oh, he's gonna be paying. Like that's kind of awkward, you know? Like,
Yeah,
I'm the
I
one that
guess.
initiated it.
But do you
I'm
go
gonna
on
be the one that
a
pays for it.
do you go on a date with no money though? Like, is that like
Absolutely not.
But what if you're broke and this girl asks you
Then
out?
you
What do
got to be
do?
transparent. You got to be like, listen, we can go on a date.
We can go next Friday when that paycheck hits, girl. You feel me?
We can go to like the park. We can go shoot some hoops.
I heard the dollar menu's making a comeback at McDonald's.
You know, Five Below has
I
some
don't
cool
know.
things.
I guess
Actually,
now-
shout out Five Below. That's a cool story.
shout out. I guess now it is kind of acceptable for either the girl or the guy to pay, or
Yeah.
you split the check.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can do that.
What's wrong
It's
with
just
that?
like splitting the check. It's kind of just like there's no point in a date because you just went out to eat and you just paid for yourself, you know?
Yeah, but part of the date is like getting to know the person, right? That's what really matters.
But the other part of the date is like the.
Well, you have to show that you can like support her. Is that what you have to do?
It depends on your age because like if you're 16, that doesn't really matter. But if you're like
because
30,
it's your mom's money to begin with. Or
right?
your
If you're
parents'
like
money.
30, then you're like. So
Yeah, but why do I have to get
like-
in my bag for this? Like, where's your bag at?
well, if
You know
you're
what
the
I'm
one
saying?
that asked them out, then you should pay.
Okay, all right. I guess that's what we're going with then. Okay, question number 3 here. When you use the microwave to heat up food, do you pull the microwave door open 1 second before the timer goes off?
If I'm in the radius of it, yes.
If not, you just let it fly.
yeah, because like sometimes I'll put something for like a minute and then I'm like, all right, I gotta go pee. Like I can be more productive with this minute. So I go to the bathroom, I go pee, and then I come back, and then I'm like, oh, okay, it's ready.
It's only a minute.
Yeah, I mean,
You have to be productive every minute of the day.
I mean, if you want to be.
No,
It's just
I can't sit here and
No,
watch
because
the time.
like you know what pisses me off is like when I heat something up and I'm like, oh, it's the perfect temperature. I go to sit down and I'm like, oh, I gotta pee. So then that extra minute or two that you're gone to go to the bathroom and then come back, your food just got cold again.
Why are you peeing every time you eat?
I'm just saying, like if it
all right.
happens.
I'm just asking.
Oh my
dude.
God.
I'm just saying. Don't kill the messenger here, okay?
Whatever.
Question number 4. Peanut butter fan?
Yeah.
Okay, do you eat peanut butter with the spoon straight out of the jar like a savage?
Not anymore.
I still do that.
I used to do that.
But I'm the only one that likes peanut butter here, so.
Really?
Yeah.
She doesn't like peanut butter?
Nah, she doesn't like anything.
Damn.
But peanut butter is always top 5 spread
Actually,
in my life.
a side note, do you like Nutella?
Peanut butter better.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Nutella's
My
trash.
girl, you know what my girlfriend said? She was like, "Why don't they make Nutella peanut butter?" I'm like,
I think we talked about this last
wouldn't
time.
that just be peanut butter?
Right.
Like,
Yep.
that's just peanut butter.
All right, question number 5.
Huh.
All-time favorite spot to eat in El Paso? Ooh. You can only pick one, so don't start with this or that. No. Okay. One spot.
That's kind of rough. That's like putting me on the spotlight. It's
Yeah,
because
well, we
like
gotta put
okay,
you on the
I feel
spot
like the
sometimes.
generic answers are like Chico's, but like
Chico's is
has gone
trash as
down.
fuck, bro.
It used to be great.
Yeah, but it's trash.
Now it's trash.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, man.
Okay, so where are you picking?
I feel like I got to go with the Riv.
The Riv is fire.
You know what? Again, it used to be great, and now it's just like slowly gone down a little bit.
Maybe your expectations are too high.
Maybe.
Maybe you need to focus on yourself a little.
You know what? Okay, classics. I'm gonna go like just the Riv. Like if I had to choose an everyday spot, but if
Right.
we're talking like fancy, honestly, I'm choosing the what is it? West Texas Chop House.
West Texas Chop House
Yeah,
is good. Yeah.
That place is gas.
I like Taco Tote. Taco
or like
Tote's
Texas
fire.
Roadhouse is so good,
Yeah, Roadhouse is underrated.
but like
in
that's
my
not a
opinion.
local spot.
No, I know, but I mean, you know.
So like if we're talking local and only to El Paso, the Riv.
okay.
If we're
that's
talking
good.
chains, I'm going with Roadhouse.
Okay. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that. Not at all. I'm not mad at all. If I seem mad, I'm not. Okay?
If I seem mad, I'm not.
Because
Well,
I'm
you're
not. I
coming off
promise.
as a little passive aggressive.
No. Okay, here. Take the phone.
All right.
I didn't look at these questions, by the way, so I don't know what's
Did you
coming
like
here.
handpick these? Okay.
No, I just went through one of my hundreds of notes that I have on my phone.
Okay. What's the biggest conspiracy theory you?
Well, you got to
either
say question 1 first.
Okay, I'm sorry. Question 1.
We need to know when we're at 5.
Okay,
because it's
question
5
1.
random, you know?
What's the biggest conspiracy theory you believe in? You either believe in or have the most interest in?
A conspiracy theory?
Yeah, I know mine.
I don't think 9/11 was real.
I was thinking the same thing.
I'm just saying that out loud. I might get shot in the head.
Okay,
tomorrow
like
morning.
obviously the plane crashing was real.
Right.
But, like,
I
the whole
don't think the
collapse-
circumstances that were.
Yes, the circumstances surrounding it and like the building collapsing.
I don't
was
think they're telling us
definitely-
the truth. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, I agree.
And then also, I think Bigfoot is real.
I think there's like some anomaly out there for
Yeah.
sure, but
you
I don't
can't
know
say
if
he's
it's,
not real.
I don't know if it's necessarily like the depicted Bigfoot. Like same
Right.
thing with aliens. Like I believe in aliens,
Right.
But I don't necessarily believe that they're depicted
That they look like the way they look.
right.
in
Like you
movies
go
and
to
shit.
like any alien gift shop and they all look the same.
Right,
but it's
right,
like I
right.
don't think they really look like
like
that.
the Martian style.
Yeah, like they could look like us. Like they could be like shapeshifters. You never know.
True. They probably are.
Like an alien could be Bud, and you would never know.
That's
'Cause
my
it's
fucking
a
dog, dude. Don't fucking do that to him, dude. I can't, dude. I'm not gonna be able to sleep next to him knowing he's an alien now.
His human eyes is just like
Yeah. Fuck.
just looking at you.
Now is he
With those
fuck,
beady
holy
eyes.
shit. I don't know. If
All
he's
right,
an
question
alien.
number 2. Who do you think between the both of us can eat the most chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A?
Between me and you,
Yeah, between me and you.
probably you because you're fat. Just kidding. I'm the fat one here.
Low-key, I feel like I could down some though.
Yeah, I feel like your metabolism is a lot better than mine. So I would say if they gave us like 30 nuggets each, we could probably finish them, but you'd probably finish them faster than me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And then I'd probably tap out like after a while.
Yeah, you'd probably be like 15, like I need a beer.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys have Bud Light over there? No, sir. It's Chick-fil-A.
And we have lemonade.
Yeah. We got sweet tea.
Hey,
Pretty
I
good
love
there.
sweet
Yeah.
tea.
It's good there. Throw some extra ice though in there, please.
All right, question number 3.
Question number 3.
What do you do when you can't sleep?
Listen to music.
Really?
Yeah.
When you can't sleep?
Yeah, when I can't sleep because it helps
Bro,
me relax.
I feel like music gets me going. Like
No, I know, but there's certain music you listen to when you're
so
trying
like
to
what
go
do
to
you
sleep.
listen to when you're going to sleep?
Like I'll listen to like some Jack's Mannequin or something corporate. You have no idea who they are, so I don't even know why you asked that. But also like a podcast too, like they're on some
Okay.
some JRE, you know, and get real wild.
Who?
Joe Rogan.
Oh.
Joe Rogan Experience. God, dude, you
I
don't
don't
know
know what
anything.
JRE is.
It's the abbreviation of his show.
It's the abbreviation of a
Never mind, dude. I don't have to explain this to you. If you don't know what JRE is, I can't help
Alright,
you.
whatever.
And I don't want to help you.
All right, question number 4.
Oh, whatever.
Of any superhero, who is the most underrated?
I think they're all overrated, actually.
No way.
Yeah, dude, they're all overrated. Like they can't. I don't know.
Overrated?
Yeah.
You think they're all
I'm gonna
overrated?
go Batman just because.
Bro, Batman is the most overrated.
No, Superman's overrated. Fuck Superman. He's trash, by the
Bro,
way.
Batman is easily the number 1 most overrated superhero.
Well, Spider-Man's overrated too.
no.
Yes, he
I think
is.
he's like perfectly
I think
rated.
that's like it's too like out there. Like you're a spider and a man.
I don't think I necessarily know like
what the
underrated
fuck is that?
heroes, but I know underrated like villains.
What about like I don't know superheroes well enough. I guess no, yeah, I would say Batman. He's just a normal guy at the end of the day.
I mean, yeah.
You know,
I think
shout out Alfred.
I think someone underrated is like Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four. Just because like
I've never even seen that
his
movie.
biggest superpower is his brain. Like he's he's the biggest genius.
So he's like me in a way.
Question
Smart.
number 5.
Just super smart, big
You
brain.
want chicken wings. Where are you going for the best wings?
Fuck, that's hard.
And follow up, drums or flats?
We're going drums here,
Okay, good.
and then
Should be the only right answer.
I don't know why, but I really, really like fucking Buffalo Wild Wings.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like those are my least favorite.
I feel like
in
Wing
El
Daddies
Paso.
just fell off.
You know what? Actually, Wing Daddies did fall off
Yeah,
hard.
And I haven't been to the Shack. Well, I've been there, but I haven't eaten the wings there, so I can't.
the wings from the Shaggers.
Yeah, I can't say that I would choose that place because I've never tried them, but I would say Buffalo Wild Wings. Yeah, over Wingstop.
Wow. Over Wingstop?
Yeah, Wingstop is trash. Wingstop used to be really good, and then I don't know. I think it's when Rick Ross got involved that everything went
Dude,
to
I'm
shit.
about to go get some Wingstop right now.
I'm down.
Oh, now you're down.
Hey, I never said I didn't like it. I just said I prefer B-dubs over
You
it.
just said it fell off.
But it did fall off. A lot of things have fallen off. You've fallen off.
You fell off.
I fell off first.
I fell off first.
It's natural. I'm older than you.
I don't know. I think my favorite wings are the Shack for sure. Like, those are the best wings I've had. And then I feel like, you know what's overrated in El Paso? Is like they're good, but it's overrated.
What?
The Track One.
Yeah, track one is trash. I don't even consider those. I don't even, that shit doesn't even pop into my mind.
It's overrated.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's like, oh my God, those are the best
track,
wings. Like, they're
track
double
one,
dipped.
y'all need to step your game up.
Yeah.
And get an actual building too. None of
Dude,
this
for
sitting in a
real,
fucking
like-
train car.
I
The
mean,
fuck kind of shit
it's
is
like,
that?
it's cool and all, but like, you need to get like something bigger. Like, get a really big
like,
train car.
Like if you're like a legit restaurant, fucking show me, dude.
Yeah,
I don't
for
want to be in a
real.
train car.
It's like, I feel like I'm eating.
Who even rides trains anymore?
For real, huh?
Yeah, fuck trains.
They should call it Track One, but turn it in like race car style.
Maybe.
Like, it still fits Track One.
Yeah. Maybe they could just rebrand altogether, you know?
Yeah, just instead of trains, go to like F1 is big, go to F1.
Right.
You know? I think that's pretty cool.
Lando?
Yeah.
Okay.
Calrissian.
That's the only F1 driver I know.
No,
but
you
yeah.
didn't get it? Like Lando Calrissian
Yeah.
from Star Wars?
Yeah, well, track one, step your shit up.
Yeah,
That's all I'm
step it
saying.
up. All right. Did that do it?
I guess that does it, right?
Yeah, I think that does it.
We'll wrap us up there.
All right. Well,
Or
thank
wrap
you
it
guys.
up or wrap. I don't know.
I never wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you comment down below any suggestions that you want to see. We are going to be bringing some new segments to the podcast. We are going to have a little bit of a time frame where we're not going to be talking about any NBA, and there's going to be very minimal NFL going on. There's going to be like a little period where it's going to be an awkward time. So we're going to be talking about maybe some random stuff. Maybe we can get some fun segments on here, maybe some trivia, maybe some games to play on here. But that just about does it for episode 16. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Peace.
Make sure you... Peace? Did you just peace me early?
Yeah, I did. Sorry.
Wow, that's
well, I was
premature.
saying peace to them. Sorry.
Oh, well, Chris is already out.
I'm out.
But thank you guys so much. Follow us on TikTok, social media, Instagram, YouTube. You know the drill. We're out.
Peace.